Tuesday, August 30th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East here with you, and we had some pretty big thunderstorms rumble through parts of the region yesterday, but we are now transitioning to quiet weather for several days, and the tropics really kind of bubbling with activity and possibilities here. I'll get into that here as we get into the latter stages of today's edition of the video. But let's look back to yesterday. Good number of severe weather reports across the Carolinas. The blue dots, that's where there was some hail, or there's some wind damage rather. The green dots is where there's some hail reported. Pretty big thunderstorms bubbled up yesterday afternoon. And still, as I'm cutting this video, some lingering rain and a few embedded flashes of lightning through eastern, south, and North Carolina, but that is continuing to advance farther eastward. Temperatures this morning, not bad. A lot of 60s across the Piedmont zones, a few low 70s at the 5 o'clock hour. There's your core of the heat still back in the southern plain states. Our upper air pattern showing you that first disturbance that brought the storms yesterday exiting. And it now looks like the next one that dives our way late this week will be pretty weak. And at least for most areas, I have removed the rain chance from Thursday and Friday's forecast, but still left it in there for Sunday and Monday as the next cold front approaches. Now notice, this is the European model. Sunday morning spins up this system in the Gulf. We'll talk more about that coming up. And here comes the next trough diving in here. And that'll play a role with Katia in the eastern Atlantic. More on that, again, in the tropical part of this video in just a moment. Today, outside of the coastal plain, it should be a dry day with highs in the 80s. Lowering levels of humidity as some dry air gets pushed in here from the northeast. Really a pretty good looking late August day. Tomorrow, much the same, some 80s for highs and pretty good amount of sunshine. Now again, Thursday, maybe some storms in the mountains that could drift into the foothills, I suppose, but the chance does not look that great once you get outside of the mountains. Same deal Friday. Can't rule out a storm, but the chance is just not that great, and so in this morning's formal forecast package, I have taken out the rain chance for the Piedmont for Thursday and Friday. Saturday looks mainly dry with high temperatures getting up close to 90 or so. Notice the activity down in the Gulf. A lot of the modeling spinning up a tropical system down that way later this week. The GFS takes that near the Louisiana coast by late Sunday, and our next cold front approaching by that point in time. Now the GFS doesn't have a ton of rain around Sunday. It all depends on how much tropical moisture can get involved in terms of how great the storm chance is with the next cold front. But I've left in the chance for some storms Sunday and there on Monday as that next front moves in. Now let's talk about the tropics. We have Katia over in the eastern parts of the Atlantic Ocean. That was Tropical Depression 12, upgraded to a tropical storm with the 5 a.m. advisory. We'll talk more about Katia here in just a moment, but let's focus on the closer to home stop. There's a tropical wave down to the Caribbean Sea, and again, a lot of modeling spins up a tropical system in the Gulf of Mexico later on this week into the weekend. I showed you the GFS output for that here as we got into the weekend. That's Sunday evening. Here's the European valid Monday evening, taking this to the lower Texas coastal area. And so it's going to be something to watch. If you have interest in the Texas or Louisiana Gulf Coast, need to keep an eye on the goings-on down there in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico later this week. Now, let's talk about Katia. Okay, there is the spaghetti charts on this. Really very good agreement overall with Katia's track over the next 4 or 5 days. And boy, the models really ramped this up in intensity. Here is Category 1 hurricane threshold. Here is Category 3 threshold, and that's Category 4 threshold right there. So some of the modeling even taking this up to Category 4 or even 5 intensity over the next couple of days. And really the prospects for development look very good in terms of strengthening for this over the next few days. Here's some of the select model charts here. The GFDL has this as a powerful hurricane a little bit northeast of the Caribbean islands out at 126 hours. The Hurricane Wharf, similar, a little further northeast with its position, but just a potent hurricane. The No Gaps, very intense hurricane at 144 hours, a little northeast of the islands. And again, where it goes from here depends on what the upper air chart looks like over eastern North America. And here's the day 8 to 10 mean, GFS model on the right, European on the left. And it really kind of depends on whether or not this trough swinging in will be able to pick up Katia. Almost all modeling indicates that was probably the case, but I'm not sold on that just yet. So I think we need to keep our guard up. Here's what eventually the GFS does with this, takes it up towards the Canadian Maritimes, the Canadian model. Very much the same, but again, it all depends on if that trough can pick up Katia or not. And I am just not confident enough to say that this is a recurving storm or a Canadian Maritime storm just yet. I think it's something that we need to continue to monitor for the southeast and the eastern seaboard as a whole. All right, that is it for today. Thanks for watching. Have a great Tuesday, and God bless.